Hi, my name is Phil Wright. I'm 45 years old. I'm a primary school teacher in Wigan in England, and this is my salvation story. It was nearly 10 years ago, back in August 2010, that my wife and I decided to go to Billings Family Church. And one particular day, a man from New Zealand was preaching, and I didn't really know much about what he was talking about. But as he was going through a lot of books from the Bible, and as he was, one of them hit me like a bolt of lightning, and it was Ephesians 4. Anyway, after the service, I thought nothing of it. My wife and I returned home, and that night, in the middle of the night, I woke and I felt a thunderous storm, lightning raging in my head. And I was battling with a lot of issues in my life, lots of problems I had in my life. And I was reaching boiling point, and I'd had enough. I couldn't take life much longer. And it was at that point I cried out to Jesus in the night, asking him to save me from this storm and to turn me down the right pathway in life. And that was it. Nothing else happened. And then I just went to sleep. Anyway, the next day in the morning, my wife Jo had gone out, and I'd gone up into the attic in the house. I don't know what for. And it was at that moment I was about to be brought right back down to earth. Jo's mum, who's a born-again Christian lady, she arrived at our house unexpectedly. And normally she would ring before she came through the door, but not today. She walked straight through the door. I was in the attic, as I said, all was calm and quiet. And I felt, the moment she came through the door, again I felt struck by a bolt of lightning. She just said hello, and it was a bit like a Nanny McPhee moment to me. I said to myself, that's strange, it's Nan, I call her Nan. I shot out of the attic and straight down the stairs to meet her. Things got really weird from this point. I was stood in the hallway and Nan was talking away, but I could hardly hear her. And she didn't say why she was at our home, but I remember her talking about a baby that had come back to life. I just kept looking at her, but all the time I couldn't engage with her. Next, my heart started pounding, and I don't recall a pounding like this ever in my life before. And a voice in my head said, "Tell Nan." And I thought, tell her what? And Nan kept going on, and my heart kept pounding more, and it happened again. The voice said, "Tell Nan." Now, I don't know how long this went on for, but eventually, as ever, my emotions get the better of me. And in the middle of talking, I filled up and I said, "Nan, will you pray for me?" And that was it. That was the trigger. At this point, God took over Nan and I. I explained a few bits to Nan. And then we went into the kitchen and we started to pray. And we prayed and prayed for me for what felt like ages. But at one point, Nan asked me, I think she asked if I wanted to accept Jesus Christ into my life. Something like that. And I said yes. I didn't know what to do, so Nan started a prayer with me, and I repeated the prayer line after line. And it was during this prayer that the miracle happened. It was during this prayer that the Lord laid his hand upon my head. And it was during this prayer that the Holy Spirit deposited inside of me. And it was during this prayer that my head was physically turned to the right. Now, backtracking a little, when I prayed out to Jesus in the night, I remember asking him to lay his hand upon me and to save me from the storm and to turn me down the right pathway in life. Jesus heard my cry, and during the prayer I remember feeling something over my head right at the very top, and then miraculously my head being physically turned 90 degrees to the right. I had my eyes closed, and Nan was still praying, and when the prayers ended, I said amen, and I opened my eyes. And as I opened them, I was looking down the long hallway of our home towards the front door, and the light was bright just like today, and I just knew at this point that Jesus Christ is real, he's alive, and he saved me, and he does hear you. I remember then turning to look back at Nan, and we smiled at one another, felt so happy and elated, and she went on her way, and Jo came home, and I told Jo all about it. And that was that. But it doesn't end there. soon after being saved, I did something I never thought I would. I phoned people, family, to tell them that I'd been saved by Jesus Christ. Only God would make me bold enough to do this. The Holy Spirit was moving around me as well during this time. I remember our eldest son battling with whether or not to stay at university, and he got a word from God in his New Testament Bible to stay, and he obeyed his word, and now he's finished university, and he's a teacher himself now, doing really well in life. 6 days later from being saved, my wife and I went back to Billings Family Church, and on this day there were baptisms taking place. Again, little did I know that another miracle was about